Hi guys, welcome to the Rule of Two. I'm Manny.
Terrence.
And Terrence got some pretty good news here, so T, lighten me up on some Star Wars news.
Totally went fast forward into this, but great. Because
I went to hyperspeed.
All right, guys, so we're back again, and this one only took us 1 week to actually, it took us 2 weeks to get back here, but because we had a little bit of a break, we got a few bits of news that we can talk about in the Star Wars realm. And the first one, which has actually had the internet ablaze since it was actually kind of leaked out there, I guess you would say, or I wouldn't say announced because it's not something that Disney or Lucasfilms would have wanted us to know about, but there has been rumblings that there have been reshoots done on Rogue One. Now, this was a little while back that they announced this, and I think just recently we got announced that those reshoots had wrapped up. But for the most part, it seems like the reshoots were being done because the
Disney executives saw a cut of the film and felt that it was too dark, and it was not in tone with the other installments.
Which was one of the things that kind of brought to mind, or at least brought a question to mind, is that is the reshoots a big issue with this film? And then two, do you think because it didn't match the tone of the other films that they needed to match the tone?
Okay, here's what I think. Episode 1 to episode 7, really.
Okay.
The Skywalkers are pretty much, and Jedis and all that stuff are involved. This has nothing to do with Skywalkers. So why should the tone be different? The tone should not be different. The tone should be something from outside of the whole Skywalker's lineage and
so it should be different.
It should be different. It should be a battle, colonial marine style, like Aliens was. Right. I mean, sci-fi, that kind of thing, Starship Troopers, that kind of thing. It needs to be that. If it's dark, then so be it, because this is what actually takes place to get those plans.
Okay.
So to get those plans in that, highly guarded, well, not really guarded because it was easy to blow up, but it wasn't easy to blow up. But
highly guarded, we got this whole path to get there.
Well, you know what I'm saying?
Don't put anything in there. No walls, no ships, no guns.
But to get in there, they had to get these plans and all that, and they had to go through some stuff to do that. So yeah, it should be different. If you're gonna have things that are called Death Troopers. Mm-hmm. That's not a freaking song and dance, hello my baby, hello my honey. It needs to be freaking serious. It needs to be dark. It needs to be, with a lot of great action scenes, a lot of good war battle scenes.
Okay.
I mean, you got some good martial arts with Donnie Yen in there,
mm-hmm. Which there was some rumblings that he was brought back specifically to kind of extend on his character because they like what they saw with him. They want to give him a little bit more. Now, my particular feeling with this is that I feel the same way you feel, is that I think it should have a darker tone because eventually we got to put some war in our Star Wars. But
besides Jedi,
the only war movie. But I do see their point because if you have a new generation coming into Star Wars and they're set up to expect Star Wars to be a certain type of film, a certain tone of film, to drastically change it in a Star Wars story, you confuse the audience a little bit. Even though it's a side thing, it kind of confuses the audience a little bit. So I understand it, but I would prefer that they stay with the darker tone.
And you said it perfectly, a Star Wars story. So it's in the universe, but it's not an episode. It's not an episode 1, 2, 3, and so forth. It is a side. It is a branch of that universe. And because it is new audience or not. Mm-hmm. The curiosity of the brand will take them to the initial tree, if you will.
Okay.
So there shouldn't be any issues as far as what the tone of the original saga is.
Okay.
This particular one should be on its own, It's supposed to be a spin-off. Let it be a spin-off.
So what you're saying is that give our audience some credit. They'll understand the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to Star Wars, oh yeah.
We're adult enough to know the difference between the films and that we can handle a film that's a little bit more mature than just having a PG
exactly.
film.
Now, there should be some elements of the saga. Yes, absolutely. I agree with that. There should be a little humor, sure. But overall, the main tone of it should be dark. Episode 8 will in fact be darker. Empire was just a tad darker. So, you know, there's and Empire is pretty much
just a tad, you know, they're cutting off limbs and stuff.
Yeah. but Empire is pretty much noted as being the best Star Wars of all of them.
Very true, and that one had the darkest tone so far.
Right. So absolutely, I would definitely take a chance. You've already put your Disney has already put their stamp on the franchise with Force Awakens. So why not take a small risk?
Very true.
You know, Marvel did it for Deadpool, so why not?
Eventually, people kind of have to get outside of the shell and see what people will accept and not just get into a particular mold. So I totally get it. Now, the next bit of news that we have is that, which is something that came out a little while ago, is that Disney had reached an agreement with Netflix to start having their films air before they go to video on Netflix. So if you're a subscriber to Netflix, this is a great thing because the Disney Vault thing was kind of a pain in the butt for all the Disney films, but it also includes the all the Star Wars films. Well, not all the Star Wars films, any Star Wars film that's released after this year. So, I mean, it won't include The Force Awakens, but when Rogue One actually comes out to video, it'll include that one.
It won't include The Force Awakens?
It won't include The Force Awakens.
What about episode 1 through 6?
It will not include those either. It will only be the films that come out after this year.
Okay, well, I
got box sets to sell, man.
I don't get Force Awakens. I mean, I don't get Force Awakens. Okay. I get the first 6 because they were owned by Fox. Okay, so maybe I get that.
Okay.
That might be a Fox thing.
Okay.
But The Force Awakens is theirs. They should release The Force Awakens, especially since it's already been out.
They just signed a deal, and the way Netflix works is that they don't have it, you know, forever. So it's they do their agreement for a certain period of time, and they can re-up the agreement to continue to have it on there. Which probably by the time this one runs out, which I don't have the details of the agreement, like how long it's going to last. But normally after a couple of years goes up, the studio jacks up the amount so much anyway that Netflix drops it off, and they'll tell you, you know, it's getting ready to come off of Netflix. Here's your last chance to go ahead and watch it. By that time, they'll probably start a Star Wars network by then, or a Star Wars streaming service by then, and Disney will probably be doing something else.
That would be awesome.
And
the Rule of 2 will be on there.
But think about it. It's like let's say if this deal runs for 5 years, and it's like you'll have Rogue One on there. You'll have Episode 8, Episode 9, a Han Solo film if it comes out within that particular point in time. But do you think it's a good idea for, you know, or I guess, are you a Netflix fan? Are you a Netflix subscriber? Would you be a Netflix subscriber if, or not if, but when these actually come out?
Oh, probably. I mean, I'm still, I still haven't seen Daredevil. So I'm a little behind.
So that means no. That absolutely means no. He won't be signing up for Netflix. But as a Netflix subscriber, I'm super excited about this because Disney does so many box sets, and it's one of those things where, because they come out with an ultimate edition, a special edition, a director's cut, you know, a letterbox, super hidden scenes with, you know, behind the scenes footage, you know, casting calls,
the boom guy point of view edition.
Exactly. They come out with so many editions, it always makes me hesitant about buying a version. At least with this, I can still watch it. And then whenever, you know, the latest one, the super ultra high def super turbo edition comes out,
I would like a remastered one.
Okay.
A remastered version of the original print.
We had that already. That's never gonna happen.
No, of the original print, though,
happen.
With the old man Anakin, not Hayden Christensen, the old man Ghost in Jedi.
Ain't happening. That's never happening. That's not happening. I'm sorry, guys. It's accepted. Hayden Christensen is Anakin Skywalker. So,
but I didn't roll one, probably.
As we move on, the other piece of news that just recently came out was that Star Wars has decided to release, since we have a lot of fans who buy a lot of merchandise from Star Wars, they decided to release the Star Wars official replica merchandise, which they don't actually call it that, but really that's what it is. They are officially licensing replica merchandise from the movie. So basically, they're making replicas that are identical to what they actually used on the movie set, but not actually the movie set equipment, and selling it for the great price of roughly $3,500 a piece. Now
so a freaking lightsaber would be $3,500?
It depends on the lightsaber. Some of it's a little bit more.
Mace?
I think the starting one, I think there is a lightsaber that is $1,700, and then it kind of goes up from there. But most of the stuff that they're actually offering is in the $3,000 range.
Wow.
Now,
what's funny is that people will pay that too.
Exactly. Because of that.
Wow.
If you had the money, would you go out and purchase it?
Absolutely.
You would absolutely.
I would go with the Skywalker green. That is my favorite lightsaber.
Okay.
It's the Skywalker green. That's my favorite one. Yeah.
So like you can get like the Captain Phasma helmet, you can get the Kylo Ren helmet, you can get the burnt up Vader helmet from Force Awakens.
That's another Star Wars story.
You know, when they combine both the movies Rogue One and Force Awakens, they call it Force One.
The Finn Stormtrooper helmet with the blood.
That is an awesome one. So
really
when I go to the next Comic-Con, I hope to see somebody with that one. And then he might have to watch his back because.
Don't check, homie.
All right, so moving on from there, the next piece of news is that we had is the Han Solo movie is set to start filming in January 2017. Now, we had a discussion before in previous episodes about the Iron Rank casting and stuff, but we really didn't talk about, now that we know who our Han Solo is, what do we want this movie to be about?
I would actually like see throughout the pretty much the whole first trilogy, it was Jabba wanting to collect. He sent Greedo after him. He sent Boba Fett after him, and then he finally got him. What was that about? What was that debt about? What was it that he?
Okay, so you want to see more of the debt.
I want to see what that whole thing was about. Okay. I want to know why he, what was the deal? What did he need that money for? Okay. And that mission that he got that money from Jabba, maybe that's the mission. The mission that, okay. So Jabba's the one that gave him the money. He used that money, and then that's the adventure. Okay. But then he owes Jabba. So, I mean, I don't know, something like that, something along those lines.
So a lot of people, because I actually agree with that. I would rather them just kind of take it as a piece in a moment in his life and continue forward with that. But a lot of people want an origin story. They want to know, they want not specifically how he became a smuggler, but they want to know how he met Chewie, how the life debt came into play, things of that sort. So that would, to me, would seem more of an origin story. And as we said in another video that we did, I'm really tired of origin stories.
But if it was kind of like, if they did it pretty quickly, if they didn't go and drag it on.
It's like, hey, Wookiee, watch out. Like, you owe me. Like, you owe me.
Like Batman Begins, Batman Begins was so freaking long before he became, So why are we talking about Batman? First it was Star Trek, and now Batman.
The #1 Star Wars podcast.
But let's talk about Batman. But yeah, you know what I mean. Like, it took too long. So if they have an origin story that's a little that they kind of tone down a little bit and not drag it on so much. Okay. And then go from there. Then I'm cool with that.
Okay, so you would want him already be a smuggler and stuff like that.
Give me a River Phoenix indie type of where it was really short. And then go.
The #1 Star Wars podcast.
It had Harrison Ford in it. The #1, yeah. We don't talk about nothing else.
All right. Okay, so guys, that's what we had for news for Star Wars this particular show. But as we do in all our shows, we got to talk about rumors. And
look at all these rumors.
We're actually going to get a theme song for that. I'm going to work on getting a theme song for our rumor section.
Look at all these rumors surrounding me every day. I just need some time to get away.
I think we'll get a copyright strike for that. But if there's a way I can use it without actually having to pay a licensing fee, then I'll throw that in here. But one of the biggest rumors that's going on right now is that in revolving around episode 4 and Rogue One, because the rumor says that Rogue One is going to end 15 minutes prior to episode 4. So
okay, I got you.
We talked about a little bit about with Han Solo and that how he might make a cameo in Rogue One. How the heck is they going to fit him in this film? How's he going to do a cameo and the timeline's not going to be correct?
And absolutely right. It's not going to make any sense. So there has to be some kind of flashback, and then they show Han Solo in the spinoff in Rogue One. because if you Harrison Ford is already Han Solo within those 10 minutes that it's shifting from Rogue One to Episode 4. So how are you gonna de-age or computer de-age freaking Harrison Ford or what? You can't bring Ehrenreich or whatever his name is. Is that his name? Did I say that right? I'm sorry, Alden. Either way, you can't bring him on and a cameo for Rogue One if that Han Solo already exists.
Okay.
I mean, then you're recasting him in that. Okay, for lack of a better term, you're recasting him in 1977 when he was already there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
So the only way that I can buy a cameo from the new Han Solo in Rogue One is if it is in the flashback and he's in the flashback.
Okay.
Because as I said before in the last Rule of Two, Han Solo's 34 in Episode 4. He's 24 in his spinoff. So that's a 10-year gap. And you said 10 minutes, not 10 years, right? Or something along
15 minutes is what I actually said.
So I don't know how they're gonna pull that off.
I was thinking that they'll probably just age up our new Han Solo. They'll just age him up.
But then that defeats the purpose. Well, I guess. I mean,
I'm the person who didn't even want Han Solo to be recast. I think they should have just did something else. But they did it. We have to accept it. We move on forward as far as what it is. But I think they're just going to age him up and just say, okay, this is what you look like as 34-year-old Han Solo.
And they're going to do prosthetic makeup to make him look
put some wrinkles and stuff like that. They reverse Benjamin Button him.
He was scruffy looking.
There you go. Add a little bit more scruff and whatever. But
I don't know.
The next part of that is with the specific rumor itself, with the film actually ending 15 minutes before Episode 4, what do you think the impact would be? Well, I guess, how do you think that apply? Well, I don't want to say this. Is that one? How do you feel about it ending 15 minutes before Episode 4, and how do you think how do you think they work in the transition to Episode 4?
Well, I think that for continuity purposes, I think it would be great.
Okay.
For the continuity of connecting the two stories, I think from that point, I think it'd be great. How they do it, it could be anywhere from Vader, like the climactic scene.
Okay.
And then Vader reaching Leia's ship and then blasting
when he gets ready to do the boarding.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Like the camera could be behind him, and then they blast it, and then he starts walking.
That's pretty good.
So I mean, it could be they can do it all.
So if there's 15 minutes a day, so that's a long 15-minute walk of that.
Yeah. Well, no, but I'm talking about, or maybe even it's the ship approaching.
Okay, we're taking the shuttle to go board them.
Maybe it's a
15-minute ride in that shuttle over there.
We found
that we're ready to go board. Hold on a second.
And they're blasting at Leia's ship. You know.
Okay.
So I mean, they could have gone that route too.
That's
now I'm glad that you brought that up. What about Leia?
Okay.
How if it's will they just stop it there and maybe add some archive footage? Maybe add some kind of archive footage of Carrie Fisher?
They just de-aged.
Well, they just de-aged. Oh man, but Carrie Fisher, you can't de-age her. But you know what I'm saying? But you understand what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know how they're gonna. That's gonna be interesting how they do that. I think that it's probably gonna be where they don't really show Carrie Fisher, and if they do, they'll show her maybe on hologram.
They'll probably talk about her and they just show the ship,
mention her, and then show the ship, and then boom, that's when they end it.
They'll show a silhouette of her buns.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, her buns?
Or buns? Which buns? All right.
All right, guys, that's all we have for the Rule of Tool today as far as news goes. And we didn't have a lot of rumors that we didn't already touch on the last one. So
we'll talk about Princess Leia's buns again next show.
As we always say in all these videos, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Tell us about any other rumors that you guys have heard in regards to either Rogue One, Episode 8, any other Star Wars films that you kind of know about. Maybe you got some intel on Episode 10. Who knows? It might be out there. There's a leaked script somewhere. But let us know in the comments below. So that's all we got.
Cool. I'm Manny.
I'm Terrence.
May the force be with you. I don't want you to be all serious and shit. I want you to have fun.
Yeah.
Because you get all freaking all like, what are you talking about? And I think that all Bill O'Reilly over here, freaking Bill Maher and shit.
It's like very professional.
Banging prostitutes, Bill Maher.
time for play. There's a time.
Wonder Twin Powers.
Activate. Form of
Do you want to see Central Intelligence?
Salsa.
Because didn't Central Intelligence come out this week?
chocolate.
No, we need
Or
to
just next week.
17.
17. All right.
It's going up against Finding Dory. Good luck.
No, it's a different audience though.
Good luck, regardless. It's going
That's
to be
different.
Parents are still gonna go see it. And
Yeah, but-
also,